Kia koutou. This submission on the agenda is written in response to the draft report of the Future for Local Government Review Panel, in response to their call for submissions. It's therefore written with the review panel as the main or only audience. Following the workshop on the 8th of February, a draft submission was circulated to all elected members for feedback. Feedback included concern that there were a number of recommendations Council didn't land a position on in that submission. There was support for the views on the need for a range of participatory and deliberative engagement practices to ensure meaningful engagement with communities. Some of the feedback was that there was no opposition or general support for a 4-year term at the workshop, and Council could therefore support that. And there was a range of contextual feedback, for example, recognising Mātou Waka and Council's engagement with Māori and a number of other points. On this basis, we've made a range of adjustments to the submission that's before you today, and these fall into three broad groups. So a group where the amendment reflects the status quo. For example, Council already has a program in place to build staff capability in Te Ao Māori. Our current elected member program is not mandatory, so we've opposed that recommendation. There's another group where there would be no reason not to support the recommendation, so that includes a remuneration review and a digital transformation roadmap for local government. And then finally, support for the 4-year electoral term. There didn't appear to be opposition to this, and it's consistent with Council's support for a 2019 LGNZ remit, which was conditional on any change being determined by referendum and paralleled by central government change. Following the direction of this meeting, we'll finalise a submission and seek approval from the delegated approvers up there in recommendation B, before lodging that with the review panel by the 28th of February. Local board views will be appended to the submission as is usual practice, and all local boards have provided feedback. I haven't seen all of it, but they have all provided feedback. 6 local boards met the deadline to have their feedback and comments incorporated in the submission. Thank you.
Have you finished, Councillor? I mean, not Councillor.
Yes, thank you.
Staff member, sorry. Well, I have a mover and a seconder for seeking approval for this before I take precedent.
Second. Okay,
now questions from Councillor Watson for openness.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just seeking clarification on one of our responses in our submission as it goes to lower the eligible voting age. I think this is on page 31, and the comment there is that we neither support or approve. That's what's down there, but we did have a council meeting, committee of the whole, Councillor Hill's committee, where we did actually establish a position and that was not to support the lowering of the age. So I'm just wondering if that's an anomaly or how that has transpired.
Through the chair, the recommendation position there was on the basis of the workshop. That's true. There was a vote, as I understand it, at the PEP committee on that. That is it's a political decision, obviously. The one way to think about this process is it's thinking about the long term, 30 years out, what the future might look like. But that's true. There was a vote at the PEP committee.
Okay. So Mr. Mayor, all I would seek then is that is altered, that we do not support it, because that was the position that we took at that committee of the whole.
Correct.
Okay, well I actually was out of the room when that happened. The vote was taken to oppose it, was it? Okay, well you've got to reflect that, I'm afraid. And then further questions, Councillor Newman.
Yeah, well, actually, it's been addressed in part now, Chair. So the on page 30 of the submission, I mean, you're very clear on single transferable vote, do not support. But now, as a result of that resolution at that committee of the whole, at 16B, lower the eligible voting age in local government elections to the age of 16. Now there has been a clear resolution, do not support, that the submission will be amended to reflect that.
Through the chair, I take the direction of this committee.
Well, direction's already been confirmed by a resolution of the committee of the whole.
Apparently it was voted for, so you've got to follow that. Councillor Hills has got a question.
Oh, it's just to clarify, and you may need another resolution because the resolution to support it was lost as opposed to a resolution to officially oppose it. So I think that's the issue probably for the staff, is that you could take that assumption that by voting against supporting it, you should oppose it.
Richard, I'm sorry. I think that the intent of the committee of the whole is clear. You tested it and you lost. So the position of the committee of the whole is do not support, and that's what the submission needs to reflect.
I was not relitigating. I 100% know that. I was just saying that there isn't an official.
Well, I think that that should say that it does not support.
Can I just clarify for councillors that the Planning, Environment and Parks Committee, Councillor Hills is quite correct. The amendment that he put forward was lost. There was no other resolution passed in terms of this matter. Therefore, there is nothing for Denise to put into the submission, whether it's for or against, because it wasn't clear.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Can I speak to that? I've got the wording of the resolution here. So the resolution said we support the lowering of the voting age for local government elections to 16 years and advocate for this in the submission to the Justice Committee. That motion was lost. So if that motion was lost, that was not support. That was not. That is quite something different to say we neither support or approve. That was put up. It was lost. That means the council doesn't support it. It does not reflect we neither approve or don't. That's not an accurate description of what happened at that meeting. There was a full debate. The vote was taken. That was lost.
Clarification?
Warwick to comment in a minute, but it seems to me that I wasn't here, but if the vote was that we don't support it, we don't support it. But carry on, Warwick. What do you tell me what I'm told?
I just thought I should add that as a result of the outcome of that resolution, the submission that was finally sent to the Justice Committee contains the statement that the council does not support the lowering of the voting age. That was based on the comments of the chair at the time in reflection on the outcome of the voting.
That's correct. We don't oppose it, but we do not support it. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, well, I just thought the meeting should know that there has been a submission now made which says plainly that the council does not support the lowering of the voting age.
Through the chair, can I look? We'll sort the wording out. It will be different from what we have now, which is neither support or oppose, and we will make it consistent with the submission that Warwick is talking to. So you have my word on that. If you want to do a resolution, fine, but there's really no point. Yeah.
I'll accept that. That's good enough. Councillor Walker, are you going to speak?
At the meeting, I raised with Warwick that the wording in the attachment for our submission was opposed. That was what was in the agenda. And that is a matter of record, and I brought that to the attention of the officer who agreed. So the further change was actually subsequent to that. So I have some concern around the advice that we're receiving around this issue because I'm very clear on it, and I'm on record in that respect. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're going to have submission which says we do not support that, and that seems fair enough. That was what they said. I wasn't there. I'd like to ask a question. I'd like to see somewhere in here, but I'm not exactly sure where, that the council want more say on local infrastructure. At the moment, we feel the government's role is to pay for these, but we would like more say. Is that possible in there somewhere in there, or does anyone disagree with that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think we can work that into the executive summary and also to some other sections in the submission which talk about funding of infrastructure.
Well, I think you've done pretty well getting through that contentious thing and getting to the stage you've got, so well done. So we have a mover and a seconder for accepting that and lodging it. And further comment? Mr. Hills, have you got a further comment here? Right. Oh, I thought you had. Okay, all those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Carried. Well done. Difficult situation. I know that you had to fight your way through. Item 9 is our council submission on the water services legislation and water services economic